Unfortunately, I don't really know what has happened so far in this series, but I'm pretty impressed. I'm not familiar with MrCesander at all, unless it's an alias, which it could be. But we're actually getting into an ace match. We're getting into game 3. My god. I'm brought back to the interview that we had where Erik is like, hey, sometimes I look really good and sometimes not so much. As I quickly just try and look this player up here. Oh, apparently he is a Berry Crunch subscriber. Interesting as we're getting into this, and here we go. We have spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Royal Blood, the Brazilian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings, going for the 12 full. It is Erik. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Royal Blood, we have an American Protoss player. Not really too much information is out there about him other than the fact that he did play in the Berry Crunch tournament, representing himself in Land of the Americas, the other Protoss. It is MrCesander. Oh, we're going for a hatch block. Here we go. The drone did slip out around the edges of the map here, is headed towards that opening, and we do have the hatchery. Let's go immediately. Cesander responds with a forge. Very quick reaction out of our American Protoss player. The probe is stuck. Not the best place it should be. The probe is stuck, but at least it has a forge. It does mean that cannons will be coming out soon, TM, but Erik is droning behind this and looking to expand. Oh, and this will be confirmed by the probe of Cesander. He's fully aware that this isn't going to be a very committed all-in. A second gateway gets thrown down behind this. The Lings have arrived and they have a lot of surface area. Ooh, the Zealot is on the other side of the wall. This gateway is going to go down. Ay. Yeah, so unfortunate here for MrCesander. Unfortunate kind of Sim City as well. The gateway will fall. A cannon is about to finish up, but the damage has already been done, and Erik is looking to even dive on top of the Zealot. A bit of an overextension, I feel. Does throw away a couple of those Lings, but even gets the probe outside of the natural. God, that's a... I mean, that is technically a wall. A little bit of a messy wall, but a wall nonetheless. You love to see it. Oh, we do see behind this Erik double expanding, taking his natural, taking his third, droning on up. Oh, and maintaining that map control. We do see MrCesander just trying to reconstruct this wall, make it look a little bit nicer, a little bit prettier. And it does now. This is not bad. Not bad. This Zealot skin, though, looks really weird to me. He looks like naked. Why does he look naked? That's weird. He looks like he's wearing a floaty. Like he looks like he has like a flotation device around his waist so he doesn't drown. Can Zeld swim? Maybe not. it just looks weird to me. It looks weird. Regardless, I do see the Overlord of Erik diving into the main base, just confirming that there's no hidden tech of any kind. The tech, of course, is not in the main, it is in the natural, as this is where the second pylon was thrown down. It is going to be that Stargate opener. Let's go, Bobby, let's go. There was no Terran plushie back then. True. Yeah, I see some people in the chat being like, yo, where's the Terran plushie? Well, I mean, hold on. Un momento, papi, un momento. Oh, actually, I don't even have to turn off the cam for this. Alright, here we go, as MrCesander is not just going for a Stargate opener. Interesting, he's not even going for an Oracle, he's going for the Void Ray first, and we have a Fleet Beacon behind this. The Overlord of Erik did slip into the natural base, did confirm the Void Ray at least, and we'll confirm it here as well. But Erik won't get into the main. He won't see that MrCesander is going a double Stargate. Not even double Stargate Void Ray, double Stargate Carrier, as we actually don't even have a second Void Ray on the way. MrCesander is going to be rushing into that Sky Toss. Erik gonna try to get a bit of scouting information. He confirms the lack of third base, and hold up, it's not gonna be carriers, it is instead gonna be Tempest. Ay, ay, ay. Oh boy. Tempest is gonna be on the way. Erik behind this has been happily droning in his own bases at his natural, his third, his main. Do have that lair on the way as well. And I am concerned here because Erik, he isn't really one to make a lot of queens. We have 6 queens in total. That's not a lot, to be honest. And we have 2 Tempests on the way. These Tempests can catch Erik off guard and wreak havoc. The first Tempest has been spotted, though, by these Lings. A very crucial scout for Erik. Immediately, queens are being produced. 2, 3 queens at a time. Roaches are coming out as well. They're not going to be the most useful. Ravagers have their place, and they can force some micro out of the Skytoss units. Ooh, it actually looks like Erik wants to go for a bit of a Roach Ling timing here. With this lair, he has the option for Hydras or Corruptors, and there we go. It is going to be a Spire as the taker choice for Erik. You love to see it. And yeah, we'll see if he can find any damage here. We do see the Tempest again. Unfortunately, I feel like the revelation of the Tempest was a little bit premature, and because of that, it's giving so much time to Erik to respond and react. It's possible that the Void Rays could have done the job of just clearing out the area and creating an opening for MrCesander to expand. Now that the Tempests have been revealed, again, Erik, he has plenty of queens on the way. He has that Spire as well. Erik should be fine. Should be fine. We do see the Roaches and Lings trying to bypass this army, sneak out across the map. Do we have much on the ground? Not too much, but we have plenty of Tempests though. Plenty of Tempest, Papi. Now that the Spire is finishing up, we are going to be able to get into more Corruptor production. We do have a 3rd Stargate on the way as well. Jesus, we're just doubling down on the Sky Toss. And Erik confirms that. He goes in with an Overseer. Ooh, pretty heavily supply blocked, actually. Forced into a really awkward position. We have Ling Roach here on the right-hand side. We have another group, another force on the left. Carriers are moving through the center, and Corruptors are on the way, but that's a lot of carriers. Sorry, that's a lot of... I keep saying carriers. That's a lot of Tempests. Does Erik really have enough to survive? Can he force MrCesander? Can he force him to turn around? And it looks like he will. Wow, he even forces the recall. Roaches going into the natural, hitting the 3rd base as well. We do see the 3rd is going to be saved, but I can't say the same for the natural. Oh, we're actually going for the Stargates. Not a bad option, to be honest, here for Erik. He does take down the Stargate at the natural base. And honestly, I feel like that Tempest push could have dealt damage. I was really concerned for Erik just because he only had a handful of queens. He was still waiting for his Corruptors, but forcing these Tempests to turn around was crucial here. It is going to put Erik in a decent position, even getting 12 probes. Meanwhile, what's the Corruptor count looking like? We have 9 Corruptors in total. Not too many, to be honest. I do still think the Skytoss can go toe-to-toe with the Corruptors, but Corruptors in conjunction with these queens can have a better time. Oh! Ooh, as we do catch a straight Tempest. We get 1, we're gonna get 2, just barely 2. We're gonna dive in and get 3. We're losing a lot of Corruptors there. I don't know if this is worth it. Oh, God. 3 Tempests for 8 Corruptors at the same time. The Roaches go for another counterattack. Not really going to be able to find too much damage, though. We have the overcharge. Harrier production has commenced. I mean, I guess the big thing is that the production of Cesander has been hindered a little bit. We had to remake that 3rd Stargate before we can really get into anything. We do see Disruptors on the way as well. But that Corruptor count. Ay, ay, ay. Let's go see Grail in the chat. Thank you so much, Seagrail, for the 100 bits. We always do appreciate the support. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much. As I'm sure Erik appreciates the support as well. We do see him trying to set up here, trying to catch whatever unit he can, maybe even a 4th base as it gets taken. Roach is once again going to be distracting on the right-hand side. The Corruptors, they go in. Bold move, trying to caustic spray down this Nexus, but here we go. The Voiders reveal themselves, and we stick around a little bit too long. A couple of Corruptors do get shaved off. And we get 2 probes. It is something. I'm worried that Erik has been bleeding out too many Corruptors, though. 11 Corruptors already going down this game. Behind this, we have our Queens. We have Vipers on the way. I saw Pathogen Glands on the production tab, but no Infestors, just Viper, Corruptor, Queen. Which is not a bad unit composition. Not at all. Here we go. Ling run by is actually going to be caught by the main army, so Erik has to pull back. The 4th base finally on the way for MrCesander as well. Over here on the right-hand side, currently unscouted by Erik as Cesander moves on forward, just clearing up some of this creep in the middle of the map. There are those Infestors, and Erik's army is getting that much more complicated. We've got Queens, and they're gonna have Transfuses. We're gonna have Corruptors. We're gonna have Vipers for Power Bombs and Abducts, and we're gonna have Infestors for Neurals. A little bit of everything. Actually, there is no Neural, so Infestors for Microbial Shroud, I guess. Can Erik handle all these spellcasters and on top of that, fight toe-to-toe with the Sky Toss and avoid the Purification Novas? It's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy, it's gonna get wild. Link counterattack is gonna be finding the 4th bases, force a cancel on some of those buildings, but nothing too major. Cesander looking to refine his army evermore. Charge that's on the way, DTs, Disruptors. The Ground Toss army is getting quite formidable, and it's something that Erik is kind of neglecting. We don't really have a Greater Spire. We're focusing on range 3 air attack upgrades. We have Queens on the ground, sure, but against a mass amount of charge lots, they're not going to do much damage. We have Lings, but no Banes. Not yet, anyway. Baneling speed is on the way. See Erik trying his hardest to spread his creep. With all this creep spread, he may be looking to just move forward with like a forest of spores. Oh, it is possible. But yeah, Cesander has done such a great job at minimizing what Erik is good at. Erik is amazing at all these counterattacks, going for Ling, Roach run-bys, time and time again. Oh no! The wall is not a wall. The Lings, they flood on in. We had a couple of DTs to defend, but they just won't be enough anyway. A little bit of mispathing here, though. A lot of these Lings are going to just get ground up. Only a handful of Lings make it into the main base, but probes are going down nonetheless. Zealot run-by is going to get cleaned up, but now we have some DTs. DT is going to be swiping away at that left-hand side base. We have to respond with our Overseers. Thankfully, we have plenty of Queens, and there we go. The Spore repositions. We will be safe. We will be able to hold on. And meanwhile, it looks like we have a Prism sneaking out across the map. Corruptors will come across this. Oh, there we go. But Cesander is about to max out. And looking at the unit tab here, we have 9 Void Rays, a Carrier, 4 Tempests. Looks like a lot of the beef of this army is going to be in the Void Rays. We're going to be relying a lot on those Power Bombs. Zealot Run-by is going to be able to take down this left-hand base. Things are going to get scary here for Erik. There we go. The Power Bombs and the Fungals will connect. The Sky Toss army is going to go down, but what about the ground army? That is the question. There we go. 42 Lings are on the way. The Corruptors are going to chase down every single one of these Tempests. The Tempests go down. 2 Void Rays survive, but that is all we have. Oof. Cesander being picked apart here. The Corruptor is going to be camping the production as well. Going into the main, there is no blink either, so even though we had some stalkers on the ground, they can't really support the army. They can't really get in, and oh, we're gonna cancel it. Caustic Spray or this Wire Council is gonna deny blink, and that is huge. Sure, Erik did take note of the fact that these stalkers can't really keep up. We do have that that Zealot DT run by being cleaned up as well. And from here, I feel like ZvP has to kind of switch into ground toss, but at the same time, he has all this tech invested. He has +2 air attack, +3 air attack. He's got to do something with it. Ling run by will be taking out the shield batteries. Here we go. A couple of infestors going to be connecting with those fungals. No way to punish. No way to blink. Up. So we get another carrier. And we can just go in. Focusing down the fleet beacon, the stargates as well. So ZvP's being forced into a counterattack. Ooh, is going to catch a lot of these morphing banelings. Not a bad pick off here. Erik remaxing on Ling Bane. Ultras on the way. I believe they do not have kindness plating. Oh no, they do. Never mind. They don't have Overlord. Overlord? Let's say Overlord speed. They do have Ultra speed though. We are ready for this. And honestly, Ultras can do quite well here. There are no Immortals whatsoever. Archons can do okay, but there aren't that many of them. And ZvP can't even blink away from the Ultras. Blink is still in production. Because sometimes Ultras can be a trap, but not here, not this time, as Novas are going to be going off. They will connect with one of those infestors. Oh my god, 3 infestors going down. But we have the fungals, we have the army being locked in place. The Ultras just rushing on forward, and the Queens to transfuse. Let's go. We need detection, Papi. We need detection. The transfuse is keeping the Ultras alive. We power through all those Archons, and it looks like Erik is going to be taking this. I mean, ZvP did a great job getting to this point. Things were looking really scary with his Skytoss transition when he finally got the 4th base up and running as well. He had a pretty intimidating army, but Erik coming in with the fungal, with the power bomb, with everything he needed, he just completely tore it apart. And even with this Ultra counterattack, the Ultras are going to get cleaned up. They're not going to do too much damage, to be honest. So Erik is overextending. This is a costly trade. Oh god. He's pulling a Dark Poppy. We've got 10 Ultras on the way. I mean, it's not bad. It's just expensive. There is no real answer to them right now, though. There's no Void Rays, there's no Skytoss, there's no Immortals. We have 2 Immortals being produced at a time, which is nice, but right now there's only 2 Immortals. And here we go, the Ultras rushing in once again. Ooh. As the Ultras distract the army, the Banelings roll into the mineral line to connect with the cannons. And there's our Skyzerg transition. Greater Spire just finished up so we can get into Broodlords. Before that happens though, we're just going to be staying on Ling, Ultra, Infestor. Even a couple of Broodlords sprinkled in as well. Why not? Just a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Fringe base is going to be taken by Erik. He's on a pretty healthy worker count. The cannons were not rebuilt. The Lings do go for a run by. ZvP is in position. Broodlords come in from behind. Erik just meticulously microing them backwards into the dead space. And there's nothing that ZvP can do. He's going to be forced all in. He's sending everything he has across the map in one last-ditch effort to end the game. And the game will end, but maybe not the way that he wants it to. As the Ultras are setting up for another run by as well. Erik looking to maybe try and get us around. Here we go. Show us the fungals. getting it quite yet, but the ultras come in from the north, from the south, from every angle possible. We have some Neurals as well in those Archons and the Fungals, just a little bit of everything. And the Protoss army is going to crumble. GG gets called, and Erik will take the series 2-1. And move on to the next round. GG. Well played. I was scared. Mate, when I saw the Skytoss coming out, when I saw the Tempest moving out across the map and we only had like six queens, I was scared. I was worried. And it was at that moment that, if you recall, Erik forced a recall. He did force a recall out of his opponent. And that recall did save Erik's life. Oh, I mean, or at least made his life easier. MrCesander just being pulled apart left and right, not the most mobile army. Didn't get blink until the last moments of that game. And congratulations, Erik. Is able to take the series and move on to the next round where he already has an opponent waiting for him. Here we go. We've been waiting for this. The reason why we started with Dolan was because we knew that we would continue with Erik. Dolan versus Erik. The team kills. Smurge, Poppy. Smurge. every time. Oh, God. Last week, it was Erik versus Vindicta. This week, it is Erik versus Dolan. Shaking my head, ESL. Shaking my head. As we're just going to be getting ready for that. Meanwhile, as we have a little bit of time to ourselves, let's refresh that bracket and figure out what the hell's been going on.